When Henry was born, he became sick 36 hours after, very poorly. He hadn't passed his meconium, his stool. So he was transferred to a specialist hospital in Bristol. It was probably one of the difficultest points of my life. At one point we weren't sure whether Henry was going to survive. My name's Samantha Hill. I am 40 years old. I live in Gloucestershire with my partner Mark and our 2 children. Henry is full of fun, full of life, a typical little boy. He wants to do things, he wants to get muddy. He's an incredible little boy. So he was transferred to a specialist hospital in Bristol. And then roughly 2 weeks later, via lots of different tests, it was discovered that Henry had Hirschsprung disease. It meant that part of Henry's bowel wasn't working properly, it was dead, so nothing would pass through, so his body started to be poisoned from the poo that was in it. We had a real fight on our hands and Henry had a fight. So yeah, we learnt very quickly about Hirschsprung disease and what it meant to our family. Henry recovered actually quite well after the surgery, but unfortunately he was having a lot of bouts of something called Hirschsprung enterocolitis, where a small piece of stool would stick in the body or not come out and it would make him sick again, so he'd have to spend time in hospital. He had Botox injections, he had something called GTN cream, and it was sort of a checklist of things to try to make things more comfortable for Henry. So to keep him safe we needed to do them, but it was a daily battle. So at that point the decision was made that the colostomy was the best option for quality of life for Henry. The decision was really hard. It was more major surgery for Henry. He'd been through a lot at that point. We were really frightened about what it meant for Henry, especially what it meant for his future. Also, the actual operation itself and how much pain he was going to be in after, whether he would cope with having a colostomy. It went completely 360 after the surgery. He absolutely flew. He's never looked back from that point, really. As soon as Henry had his operation, we had a large bag with all different products in there, and we literally went through one product after another, and then we got to the Mio bag, which was completely brilliant for Henry. Is Percy okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? You sure? One suggestion was for Henry to own his stoma, so Henry picked a name and he calls his stoma Percy. Percy is like his best friend. Is it just a little one?
No, big one.
A big one. We empty it later?
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks it's hilarious when Percy passes wind, and he literally giggles and goes, Percy, and it's lovely. And all me and Mark could have ever wished for was for Henry to be happy and comfortable in his own body, and he absolutely does that. Even though the Mio bag has been a game changer for Henry, it's still an adult bag. So to now know that there's a children's bag out there it's amazing. These children are little, they don't need great big bags, so even the size is going to make a big difference again, which is fantastic. The star shape, that's going to be great because sometimes Henry gets sore patches, so you'd be able to move it round and let his skin have a bit of a break. That shape I think is going to stick to his body better. He's a really active kid, and having something that moves with him is going to be fantastic for Henry. So for Henry's future, it's just him being able to do everything he wants to do in life, isn't it? And for him to enjoy everything and never let things hold him back. What do you reckon? Yeah?
Yeah.